Hello and welcome back. In the last part of the video, we are going to do the practical exercises. Just to mention one thing, you might find the sound a little bit unclear, crackling or maybe loud. And the reason is because I'm using a headphone mic. I need to have my hands free to input data. So please bear with me, and I do apologize for the inconvenience. Now, rather than explaining the various parts, which I have already done, let's go straight to the practical aspect. Let's do the work on this file because there's very little time and we got loads to do. As you will see, I have already input information on the file which we would have had to put otherwise. So let's start with the date of joining. 18th October. That's the date that I am recording this video for you, and that's today. Now you will see that this is the most important part of the file, as I had explained, because we need to have a digit over here. This is the cornerstone, otherwise other superstructures or components will not work. So let's input £100 as our regular rate. I think that's reasonable. That is the net charge, meaning if you give a discount of 20%, then that will reduce. However, this will remain the same. Let's go and see the travel cost. 20%, 40. That's correct. Let's remove this now because we don't need them in our calculations. We need only the regular rate. Now inputting the work, the date again, and the time, say 1 hour to make it simple. Now this, how we enter the time, is explained over here. So there's nothing to worry about. This is the cost implication based on the rates we charge, that is £100. So if we give a discount of 20% over there, it should go to £80. There it is, £80. So that's correct. Now if I take you to the lower section of the file, herein you will see this is the month figure, £100, which we have worked for the client in this current month. And this is the turnover till date in the current financial year. That's the previous months. So we still have £100 demand, which then shows in the end. That's the rolling account over the year. This is the current figure of today. You'll also see in the current year, that is over there and over here too, because the client has not made any payments. So we still have a demand. Now the client makes a payment. And is a good client, he pays us £100. That's the total amount. So the balance goes to 0. Okay. Now about the advance deposit. We decide to demand an advance deposit from the client. Now notice how I input the data. There is a leading negative sign. This is because this is a credit balance for the client. This is the client account file. And you will see it's written over there. Always enter as a negative amount, as this is a credit balance. And once you enter, it goes red to help you see that this is a credit balance. Now nothing happens there. It's still 0. Why? Because this is the actual demand we have on the client. Now this is a security we have taken as an advance. We haven't done any work on that. So that's why it will not show here. This figure will only show the demand that we have because of the work we have done or any payments that we have received. So for instance, if the client then decides to pay us the £200 advance, you will see now that it goes to a credit of £200. Then we know that we are in a debit or the client is in credit. Okay, so that's how it works. Now going to the previous months, let me recap one thing over here, and that is I had mentioned that this file will only be operative when you start working on it. So anything prior to this, meaning prior to today, we will have to enter manually. So here and here we have to enter manual digits. Say 500 for the previous months we have done business. And you'll see it goes to 300 because there was a credit of 200. Yes, that's true. Now the client then is a good client, as I said, so he paid that 500 again in the previous months. and again he's back in credit of £200. Now let's take the previous year. We have done business with this client for the last 1, 2 or 3 years, and we have done a business of £5,000. However, the client, well, there was some problem with him and he couldn't pay the whole money, paid only 4,800, so we were left with a debit balance of £200. So a credit of this year's 200 and a debit of 200 in the previous year's makes the balance 0. So we know here exactly where we stand in relation to the client as far as the account is concerned. Okay, this is so important to know the current scenario. Okay, so now let's go to the VAT implications, which is the last component of our requirements. And here's the VAT area. Now to input a standard VAT charge, 20%. Now notice, I want you to notice one thing. Before I press enter, I would like you to have a look at these cells. Over there, over here, 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 and here. When I mean VAT implications in a client account file, this is what it means. So now let me press enter. Now you see that's changed. There's a £40 VAT on that, bringing it to 240. There's a difference, 860, because there's a £40 over there, plus 20 on the demand for the month. Over here, £20 for £100 is 120. That again comes here. And there is the demand of £20. That is the VAT liability on the client now. Now, one thing I would like to also mention here, that we have showed a VAT liability for the current month, that is October, the present month we are doing. So it will not show VAT liability for the past months. So only for the current month. However, if we were liable for VAT since April 2013 or the present financial year, and with the same percentage rate, then this will be £100, which is 20% of 500. Now you see it increases to 120, and there it is. That's the demand of VAT on the client, because you remember it was zero balance when we had not input VAT. So that's how it works. Okay, now let's just show one small thing before we end this practice. What if we give a discount in October, that is this month, a 20% discount? Everything changes. However, you know, if you go into my homepage, you will see I have mentioned one thing very important about this client file, which I have created and developed and structured myself, and that is over here the VAT, the discount doesn't change. It changes here, over there, because we are giving discount only for this month. So this is one very good aspect of this file, is whenever you want to give a discount to the customer, you can give. You don't have to give every month. I wouldn't say I didn't want to give in September, I want to give it in October, so I gave in October. Okay, so that's how it works. As you can see, this is structured, simple, self-explanatory, easy to use. And that's why when I say that my business management system is simple, well structured and user friendly, this is what I mean. This is exactly what I mean. If you haven't yet asked for the information pack, then please do so by just entering your details here. You'll get a link emailed from where you can download the information pack and also the terms and conditions followed from there. It'll be much better for you to understand the services that I provide and the terms and conditions of that service. So here we are at the end of our series. I hope you've enjoyed it. I thank you very much for your time, for all these 3 videos that you have watched with me and gone through patiently with me, and I really appreciate that, and I hope it was helpful. Thank you once again.